Hi Stampers, this is Meg from LovenStamps, and I'm here with a feature that I'm excited about because it is part of my online crafting class for the month of July. Available July 1st through 10th for free with a $50 order in my online store with a hostess code for online crafting class. But here is the preview. So the feature is going to be the Come Sail Away bundle, which is featured on the front of the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. If you don't have one, let me know and I can get one to you. But I'm going to show you a card that I am offering as a bonus to my online crafting class. So this one's above and beyond the 12 cards that are included in that class. But let's go ahead and get started. So I have a strip of Whisper White cardstock. It's a half sheet and scored in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it. And then I have a piece of designer series paper from the Come Sail Away Sailing Home bundle, and it is really gorgeous papers. I have a whole piece cut here, so it's actually 4 inches by 5 1/4. And of course, with online crafting class, all of the cut sizes are included. But instead of layering this entirely, I'm going to actually layer underneath it, which means I need my 2 1/4 inch circle punch, and I am going to come on here and push this in just a little bit and go ahead and punch a circle. Now, that you're going to want to save because you can make all kinds of other fun things with it. And this piece is going to go on our card. Now, I want to go ahead and add some pieces to this, mostly featuring this fun sailboat from Sailing Home stamp set, but I want to give us a background. So we are going to be doing some sponge daubering. I'm going to show you some die cutting, some tricks with the trinkets and with the thread, or the Sahara Sand Baker's twine, and trick with the aqua painter. So this is going to be a video packed with a lot of cool tips and tricks, and then I have even more in my online crafting class. So I know you're going to want to make sure you place an order and qualify to get that for free in July. All right, so backing up, pieces that I need for this project, I'm going to need some balmy blue cardstock and some Whisper White. I'm going to go ahead and stamp in Night of Navy here and use the coordinating die cut here with my die cut machine to cut that out, and then ta-da, through the magic of television, have this piece here. I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock and this sweet little die from the coordinating die set, and that ta-da is also available through the magic of television. And then last and not least, I'm going to take my little anchor here and stamp in Night of Navy on balmy blue, which is a little unusual, right? We're stamping in color on color, but then I'm going to die cut that, and ta-da, through the magic of television, have that die cut ready to go too. Okay, so these are the pieces that I'm going to use to create my focal point. It's going to kind of fit down here to the side. But let's get back to the tips that I promised you. First one is coloring with an aqua painter. So let's zoom in here, and there is a lot of shading in this. An aqua painter, if you've never used one, has a barrel that you can unscrew and then you can fill with water. There's some other techniques you can do with things like, I know, future floor wax and things like that. But the more you squeeze it, the more water goes through. And for this, honestly, I'm barely going to squeeze it at all. So, or I'm not going to squeeze it at all, more likely. So the water is going to come out, and I'm going to use it to re-solubilize the ink that's already on there just from stamping. So this is a little like, remember when you were a little kid, you might have had, I had those coloring books where the ink was already on the page and you just use a wet paintbrush, so there's no mess, and you just move the ink around. This is a lot like that. I love it. It's super simple, and it adds so much to the sailboat. So Stampin' Up! Artists who know how to draw these fabulous images already did the shading for you, and so they know where the dark parts are going to go, and that's where the lines are darkest, and then where there's no lines, those are highlights, like right here in the middle of the boat, so I'm not going to go over that, okay? So now we have a beautifully shaded image, and I'll bring back the unshaded one to show you kind of the difference. See how much it adds just to add that little bit of water to it. So really, like the simplest watercolor ever, it's water and color. All right. So that boat's going to go on there again. And now let's get to our background. Now, I am going to actually do my sponging through this hole here, but because I don't want to make a mess of my pretty designer series paper, and I also don't want to, like, you know, make a mess and not be able to fix it, I actually have a 3x3 inch piece of cardstock that is all ready to go. I cut it separately, and that is what I'm going to do my coloring on. So I have my Poppy Parade, my Mango Melody, and my, I think I want Crushed Curry instead of Daffodil Delight. So I'll grab that one from here. So it's just got a little deeper color. And I am going to start with the lightest color and then kind of go darker from there. So lightest color with my sponge dauber is Crushed Curry, and I'm gonna give this like an all over kind of thing because I want my colors to blend into each other. So starting at the top, I'm just gonna go back and forth. And the nice thing about sponge daubers is that you can just keep layering the color on, okay? So, and they're, it's not flat. The color is really dimensional and active because it's not all super even. So next is Mango Melody, and I'm going to start kind of in the middle here, and I'm going to go up a little bit to blend into my Crushed Curry. Here you can see the orange starting to come in. I love Mango Melody. And then I'm going to come down here to the bottom. And if you're getting too much back and forth motion, you can use some sort of roundy motion to blend a little bit more, okay? And I'm not going to worry, see there's a darker spot right there, that's going to get covered up by the time that I get my poppy on. And I'm just going to go right up into the Daffodil Delight, just a little bit here and there, and keep this handy in case I decide to go back. And then I'm going to grab my Poppy Parade and another dauber, and I'm going to kind of start at the bottom and just edge up just a little bit into my Mango Melody. And these inks are so vibrant. It's just gorgeous. Okay, so now I got kind of what I think I might want. I'm going to go ahead and test it here under my blue. Look at how that brings out the shading. Isn't that amazing? So I kind of want to blend a little bit. I'm going to take my pumpkin sponge and go between the pumpkin and the poppy there just a little bit to kind of shade that transition. And then I'm going to back up with my daffodil sponge and I'm going to shade that transition just a little bit more. I didn't re-ink it, I just added a little more ink from what was already on there. Okay, so that is going to give us our really, really gorgeous sun in the background, okay? So, I'm such a fan of this card. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and add some snail adhesive to the back of this. And I haven't added my dimensionals to the back of my designer series paper yet because I'm just using this as a guide. So I've got them lined up with my fingers so that I know where I want to go ahead and glue that background. So you see where if we like total failed, we could have shaded that out. So then I'm going to grab my designer series paper here and some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to give us a little bit of dimension around the edge. I'm going to do kind of one at the top and one at the bottom of our circle, really to pop that dimension out. And one of the things that's great about the Sailing Home set is the shading and the artwork just really lend themselves to extra dimension. So the stamps really help that effect on their own too. Okay, so now you can kind of see how there's like a shadow that makes that sun really pop out. All right, we're going to bring back our elements that we kind of created and kind of arrange these. So I want my sailboat, I think, to be really right next to the sun. And let's see, do I want it on top of my anchor? I think so. I think I want it to be about like that. Okay, so we have a cool effect there. Now, there's a hole in the top of the anchor, which I think is just begging for a piece of the baker's twine. So this is from the same suite, the Sailing Home suite that is featured in the new catalog with the stamp set. And I cut kind of a long piece of baker's twine because it takes more twine than you think to tie a double knot like this. Just pair those two strings and tie them together, and then you have that really fun kind of nautical element to go with our card. All right, so there we have our pieces. Let's see, do we like them up? Do we like them down? I think I kind of like them about there. Oh, you know what? That anchor really wants to be on top. I can't help it. It's jumping off. All right, and then we need a greeting for our card. So I am going to, you could do all kinds of fun things with this. I think I'm going to do a real small one though. I'm just going to do the thanks greeting, and I'm going to show you this because I want to show you how this sweet little die works. So I'm going to take a scrap of Whisper White here, and go ahead and stamp it. And usually I like to save my paper by putting stuff right at the edge, but I am, smearing my image. Okay, let's try that again. Usually I like to put it right at the edge, but this die actually has some cool shape to it. So I'm going to align this up and run it through my die cut. And then through the magic of television, I can take that die away and have that piece already cut out. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up here. Is, I think, just the perfect kind of place for that. So, all right, let's go ahead and start sticking stuff down. So one of the things I like to do is keep my multi-purpose liquid glue in a little shot glass. This one happens to be from Marseille, which is one of the places that Stampin' Up! Sent me as part of an incentive trip a few years ago. And if you're watching this video now in July, you can check my Facebook page for some posts because we are doing some fun traveling again. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and pop this steering wheel back on there. So yeah, one of the cool perks about Stampin' Up! Is you can earn these amazing trips to travel around the world. So, all right, I'm going to, let's see, I put that a little lower than I expected. So let's see, I don't want to divide that totally. So I'm going to pop a dimensional here on the back of our sailboat with our things that we colored. I am going to pop another dimensional on the side of our thanks here. I don't really want it to be on top of the sailboat because I don't want it to keep getting layered too high. So I'm going to pop that there. And then lastly, I'm going to grab, I have some mini dimensionals around here somewhere, but in the event that you can't find mini dimensionals, the edge pieces from your regular dimensionals work really well if you need something that is just a little bit skinnier to kind of fit across there, and that will do the trick for us. So I know we were going to put that sailboat in the background, but this fun anchor just superseded it. Not much to do when your pieces do it for you, right? So there is kind of our fun sunset card. Now lots and lots of things you can do with this. Actually, you know, I feel like it needs one more little piece. I feel like, what does it need? Maybe like a little Sahara sand strip. Let's take this and try it. Okay, I just cut a little strip across here. I feel like, oh yes, it needed that little anchor. So I'm going to trim an end there to just give that a little more interest and pop this guy on with some snail and slide it under our pieces. Let's see, what do you think? All the way to the edge? I kind of like it not all the way to the edge. All right. Oh, a trinket. I forgot to put a trinket on. Let's see what trinket to use. We already have an anchor, so I think we're good there. So I think it's going to be one of these steering wheels. And maybe, let's see, we like to stick with our one focal point, we'll kind of do it off to the edge. I feel like putting it over here divides our, could have put it over there if we'd made that longer. Oh, I kind of like it over here actually. So it's kind of fun to, when you're designing cards, try different things out. I really love to gather my pieces a lot of the time, grab my mini glue dots, and kind of try out where different things fit so that I can see what I like best. And often the thing that I expected, like that anchor, right? He just jumped he jumped out from behind that sailboat. Anyway, so there's our finished card there. So, like I said, online crafting class, available for free with an order of $50 or more in my store between July 1 and 10th with the hostess code. And let me show you some of the other cards. This one is kind of a bonus, so you'll be able to make this one that features that same set of stamp supplies. But let me show you some of the other cards. So these are 3 of the ones that I created for that online crafting class. So this one is a designer series paper feature where the card base is designer series paper. Love, love, love doing that. And some good tips and techniques on that one. This is another designer series paper feature, which opens as a gatefold here, and I'll give you some tips for putting that together as part of the class. And then here's one more, the of those 12 projects that are in that tutorial bundle. And this one actually opens like this. Super, super clever and fun way to surprise somebody. And these are all great masculine cards. And you know, if there's engineers in your life, anything that's a little different with a fold or the way things come together is a big hit. So anyway, I am in love with this Sailing Home bundle, the stamp set and the coordinating framelit dies. There are so many things you can do with it. I'll give you 12 more ideas in details for those with cutting dimensions and so forth as part of the online crafting class. Just check my website at LovenStamps for the hostess code for the online crafting class for the month of July, and I will get that bundle out to you via email so that you'll be able to make the most of the supplies that you have. Details are on my website for the pieces that you might want to order to be ready to make the cards that are included in that tutorial bundle. But let me know anytime if you have questions. So thank you so much for watching. I love sharing projects with you, and I look forward to stamping with you again soon. Happy stamping!